We're starting a new series on ethics. Actually, it's ethics for business. I think you have seen in the previous intro about what ethics are about. CIMA syllabus focuses heavily on ethics, and actually it covers more than 20% of the questions that are given to you on your way. So literally, if you put simply, right, ethics is about morals. What's in our culture, what's in our ethics, what's in our etiquette, what's in our religion, morals, right? So that's a kind of set that kind of guide our behavior, do's and not do's from the small age, right? We are sort of guided either directly or indirectly by our society, right, to a particular frame of conduct or behavior. So there only we develop what's right and what's wrong, and these ethics may differ from country to country, society to society, right? Now if you take a nation, entire country follows literally a single law in a particular area, but we may have different set of ethics. Take food, take the way we follow religions, take the way we pay respect to the elders. There's a lot, right, where we differ on. So ethics are that. So you don't have universal global set of ethics for everything. There are few, but a lot of ethics are different from place to place. Law tends to be universal, at least within a country. Yeah, that's the way with regard to ethics, right? But law, remember, you can do wrong things in law. Law allows it, right? There's nothing called a blanket law where everything is banned. Law always tell this cannot be done, but in this way it can be done. Whether it's murder or whatever, right? That's a reality. Ethics, no way. Yeah, we think a lot about the consequences when we do ethics, right? That's something we really worry about. What would be the after effects? Now, that's something that we don't worry about in law, right? Law is there, so we take out the action. But in ethics, we worry about the consequences. We do have our own principles. Yeah, we are motivated to do the right thing, do the good things, right? And yeah, values. Now, imagine what a business faces. See all of them. All of these are the things, the challenges that a business might come across on a daily basis. Many trunchy operations. Yes, true, a business has to create products, provide services, give employment, carry on with the revenue generation by sales, and yes, profit, and that's how the business go on. But when you go on with that sort of angle or focus, remember, the focus on ethics cannot be avoided, because at the end of the day, finally, the consumer or the customer or the society gives additional amount of respect to the business that does its work ethically and would not worry much about avoiding a business that is not so ethical. So every business needs to think deep about its ethical conduct. Now take a look at our own social media, right? See how critical sometimes the people are about businesses doing wrong things. That's how it is. So businesses need to be very ethical as much as possible, from one end to the other. Internally among the employees, externally towards the customers, and just externally towards the environment, society. Right? Ethical duties are plenty in any business. Yeah, if you look at the marketing, advertising. Now, advertising or marketing is not something that law would kind of walk into, interfere into. It's an art, it's a form of art, but a business shall not, kind of double cross or intentionally deceive a customer. Even though he may escape, the business may escape legal control on it, but the society or the consumer or the people may not forgive the business for doing this. The cost of business ethics, right? Take a look at the background image. You may see that this whole world in the red, right? Various versions of red, except for few spaces of green. That shows how corrupt the world is. Even Sri Lanka is in the red, but there are a few countries redder than Sri Lanka, but we are also in a bad red. Corruption. Corruption happens when you break ethics. Corruption happens when you get things done in the wrong way, by paying, by inducements, by bribery, right? All that. One huge problem in business conduct is the breaking of ethics to get things done. It's common even in Sri Lanka, right? So can a business be a good business? Yeah, sure, but it costs a bit. If you want to be ethical in running, then everything that you do has to be ethical. You can't be 50% ethical and 50% unethical. So where you get the material from, how you treat your employees, how you discard your the refuse, how you treat the environment, how honest you are towards customers, they cost a lot. To be honest is not cheap. Yeah. And then you cannot do unethical things. And when a business goes for ethical conduct, remember, managers have to think about things more than just making profit. That's also a cost, right? It's not just profit orientation that a business can go on. If you want to be ethical, you have to think about, okay, we have to make profits this way, but is it all right? Would there be people getting hurt by this? How can we minimize the hurt? So that takes time. That takes cost. What about benefits? Plenty benefits are there, right? You know that. Good ethics, yes. We love to buy things from a place where we like, because the place is good, right? We love to work in such a place because it gives us a kind of a decent branding, right? It gives us a solid branding, recognition. And yes, we can cost kind of savings of cost is also a possibility, right? Because ethics means not wasting resources, right? Not wasting water, not wasting electricity, not wasting other material, right? Getting optimum use of what little we have, being careful of the conduct that we do. So that will lead to saving of money. Imagine, us living at our own homes in a way that is properly ethical, like not wasting food. Waste of food is unethical, right? So cost savings are there. And yes, good ethics can reduce risk. Why? We take care of one another, we take care of each other. That's what happens, right? So imagine a school, right, where there are about 3,000-4,000 people in a school, 100 or 200 teachers, but rarely we have an accident in the school normally, right? Because elder students take care of the Mallis and Nangis, right? We take care of each other. We look out to help each other. So we together as a team, without our parents, right? With only very few hundred teachers, we are able to take care of ourselves because we have duties. No one tells us, right? But we take care of one another in our schools. If one is about to get into danger, we quickly support him, right? We tell him not to be. So there's always, caring and sharing in ethics. So that reduces the risk. This is a company, Toyota. See, it's the world's largest automaker, the world's most profitable automaker. See how much Toyota thinks about, being nice to the society, not just selling good cars to the people. Toyota cars are reliable, no question about it. The best-selling motor car brand in the world. But Toyota is not satisfied with it, right? They know that there's more that the world expect from a company with such a global footprint as Toyota, right? Just selling good cars is not enough, right? Be nice to us in multiple ways possible. So Toyota has worked so much in Asia and especially in Africa, reaching out, helping out, doing things nice. So we call it in a business sense as corporate social responsibility. We'll be learning that later. It's part of the syllabus actually, right? A part of the syllabus would be questions based on CSR. But remember, it's part of ethics. So not just Toyota, virtually every other business, every other company, big or small, think about being nice to society. They it's a handie kade or a big shop in town, they always, reach out, right, in ways possible, right, in ways which are not connected to profits, right, to be nice, to be caring, to be, kind of reaching out, right, helping out. Some of you who are in the schools, right, whenever you needed sponsorships and all, remember going into the offices or the shops or, the companies to collect some funds. You may have seen how they reacted to you, right? Yeah. Okay. Are we all ethical in the same way? Definitely not. Different people have different focuses on ethics. Take a look at it. Consequentialist, egoist, utilitarian, pluralist, relativist, absolutist. Who is a consequentialist? You're ethical, but you worry a lot about, okay, what will happen if I do this? What would be the effects on me? You think about a lot about the consequences, eventualities, results before you do something. Such a person is called as a consequentialist, a careful person, right? Are you that? Egoist. If it's for you, your benefit, you'll anyway do it. Egoist is that. Okay. Utilitarian. You worry a lot about the benefit to the others, and you're ready to sacrifice your own fun for the benefit of others. That's a utilitarian, kind of a Robin Hood, kind of a Saradiel like a person. Pluralist. Okay, you will worry a lot about the family members, relations, friends and all, right, when you do something. Relativist, others are also doing the wrong thing, so I'm also doing it. Just follow the trend is what a relativist does. It's okay to do it because others do it, so I'm also doing it. Absolutist, I will never do it. In our life, right, we may go through this. Egoist, okay, when you are very young, maybe 13, 14, right, teenage, you do what you like, right, whether you are told by the parents to not to do whatever, you just do what you like. Consequentialist, when you are, someone like in a 19, 20, like you think about, right, if I do this, what will my parents think about it? What will be my future on this, right? You worry a lot in your 19, 20. You worry about the consequences, whatever you do, because now you are free. You can be out of home, right? Not as free in mind, right? Although you are physically free from parents and all, because you get the cash and you can walk about. Not like the teenagers where the parents will really supervise you. But you are the consequentialist at the moment, right? You worry. Is it all right to do it? Is it fine if I do it? Utilitarian? Yeah. Some of us, right? Or a lot of us, right? In our ages, right? Sometimes we try to be, to be nice to everybody. Right? To be caring about others, even if it costs something for us. Such a person is utilitarian. Pluralist, sometimes the eldest in the family, right? The ayya or akka, right? They think more about the family, right? Their health, well-being, education of the mallis, nangis, right? Stakeholders, before selfishly thinking about themselves. Pluralist. Relativist, we all are, right? Others also break the lockdown, so we also go. Others also break travel restrictions, so we also do it. That sort of thing. Absolutist, one who never does a wrong thing. Senior people, right? You're, Siya or Attamma or whatever, right? In the 60s, 70s, right? When you reach that age, right? They're very much pious, religious. They don't do wrongs. Absolutist. I'm not telling you have to be that age to be absolutist. So at any age, we could be any one of them. Consequentialist, egoist, utilitarian, pluralist, relativist, or absolutist. Now take a look. Who are they? My favorite movie series years back. Still watch it when Rupavahini shows it. Saradiyal, the Sri Lankan version. Who? Relativist, absolutist, utilitarian. Who is he? Pluralist, benefit of many, right? So can be taken as utilitarian or perhaps pluralist, benefit of the stakeholders. 4 players, 4 different set of ethics, but 4 players following the same law. Are you getting me? ICC rules, Sri Lanka cricket rules, Sri Lanka law. But ethically, these 4 guys would have different set of ethics. right? Some of them could be utilitarian, some of them could be, relativist, some of them could be, absolutist, right? Some could be, pluralist. I don't think there's an egoist here. Is that right? So that's the thing, right? If you take your own family, your brothers and sisters, your mother and father, right? They don't follow the same set of ethics. There may be differences. What's okay and not okay, right? Okay, ethics, our focus basically is to focus on, completely on the accounting profession or the financial accounting or the management accounting profession. So the key body for accounting profession in the world is International Federation of Accountants, and they have set up code of ethics for every member body. If you look at the Chartered Institute of Sri Lanka, the AAT Institute of Sri Lanka, CIMA, ACCA, AICPA, the American institution, every global accounting body is a member of International Federation of Accountants. So all those member bodies have a set of code of ethics to follow as members of this particular member body. So that's how important ethics are. Actually, professionals are more controlled by ethics than regulations. UK. Now we are in CIMA, so let's focus a bit on UK. CIMA has a body called the Conduct Committee. The Conduct Committee is mostly about, checking into the discipline, conduct, behavior of the businesses and the professionals, right? It's part of the Financial Reporting Council, FRC, just like the Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka. මුදල් විනිමය සුරැකුම්පත් කමිසම ඊට වඩා ගොඩක් බලතල තියෙන ආයතනයක්. අපිට වගේ සමාන ආයතන නැ ලංකාවේ, like the Financial Reporting Council of UK. It's a mighty powerful organization, body, which is responsible for honesty in business. So it has a sub-body called the Conduct Committee that checks the professional discipline of professionals, even you. For example, when the CIMA syllabus is set, Conduct Committee should approve it. When the CIMA syllabus changes, the Conduct Committee should approve it. Whatever the CIMA training courses and the programs and other things, you have to face as CIMA students, the Conduct Committee would be supervising it. And the mannerism in which CIMA finally give you the CGMA, that means Certified Global Management Accounting Qualification. That's what you get after being, the CIMA exam complete and after 2+ years of service in a company. CIMA would supervise you and decide that you should be given the Certified Global Management Accounting Qualification, CGMA. And that's supervised by Conduct Committee. Ethics, right? Some tasks for the ethics, Conduct Committee. Professional discipline, professional reporting reviews, corporate reporting, so a lot of things, right? London, UK is a financial center of most of Europe. It's one of the most important financial hubs in the world. So no wonder they thoroughly check on the accounting and auditing and rest of the financial honesty of corporates. Yeah, when you do ethics, we do face threats, right? Self-interest threats, self-review threats. Check the other ones also. Familiarity, intimidation, advocacy. What's the meaning of self-interest threat? Imagine that you're working in a company, you're a manager in a company, you're a young manager in a company. Suddenly your Malli or Nangi feels like joining your company. What can you do? Yes, you should support your Malli or Nangi, right? But how can you do it? You silently or secretly tell the interview panel, mage Malli na kohomari ganing. Or you walk into, you tell your brother or sister not to tell that you are related and somehow get in. Or perhaps you give some bribery or whatever to get your brother or sister in. Because you have to help him, right? Because he's your brother or sister. But you have a duty to your company also. Company's right is to select the best person at the interview. Whereas you may have a desire to get your brother or sister as that selected person. So there's a clash. When you have a clash between the professional duties and the personal interest, we call it self-interest threat. That's not exactly a nice place to be, right? When you get self-interest. We are all cash-minded, we need money, and we need to support our own family and friends and all, but we have to be very careful not to cross the line where our professional duties get hurt. A lot of us face this problem, right? Self-interest threat, right? Sri Lankans normally, work through the relations, friends, backdoors, right? Connections. And because of our pushing on someone to get something done for us, he may be losing his self-interest. He may be, having a threat to his self-interest, right? Bribery, corruption, all that. Self-review, when you are at home, as of now, right? Your conduct, your behavior can be, in a way, noted, discussed, opined, advised, right? By the parents, sisters, brothers, right? It happens. We normally talk to each other, right? We normally tell pluses, minus about each other. Imagine a couple of years down, maybe 1 or 2 years down the road, when the COVID problem and all that is okay, you are in a boarding house, in a hostel in a university, or a boarding house in Colombo, alone now, having money as an employee. You're the only one in the room. Now what? Whatever you decide to do, only you decide. There's no one to double check. No one to decide whether you should do it or not. Right? So you become your own judge, and that is a threat. What if you make the wrong judgment? There's no one to, say that you're wrong. Right now with your family, okay, whatever the wrong decision that you're about to make, others may not and others may tell things. So having self-review threat, that means no one to advise me is not a good thing, it's a bad thing, even in industry. When you are at a lower level in a company, yes, people are there to advise me, to give me suggestions, give me directions, and give me a bit of voicing out and all that, sounding out when I do a wrong thing. But when I go up, I'm a team leader, when I'm a manager, I have less and less people to advise me. So I am more and more under self-review threat. It's a dangerous place to be. It's always best to get second opinion of whatever you do from someone else. Familiarity threat, a really Sri Lankan problem. We love to be close to others, right? We normally, we go ado macam with everybody, right? We like to develop connections. That's our culture. But what if we are in a company as a manager, right? As a junior manager, you're very close to your team. They're your buddies, you play cricket, you go hang out in the evenings, right? So you're very, very close as a team. And suddenly one guy is not doing his work well. Is it easy for you to scold him or to demote him or to report him to the HR? Hard, right? Because he's too close to you. This is a familiarity threat. It's something that a manager should avoid. So that's why the managers kind of keep a physical distance a psychological distance from his team. Imagine the school principal with the staff, right? He needs to keep a bit of a gap. Otherwise, he won't be able to run the school in a very efficient manner, because he cannot be coming under familiarity threat. It's that. Intimidation threat. What's that? Person high above me can tell me things, and even if I don't like it, I might be feeling like doing it because he's my boss. That's intimidation threat. Advocacy. You should never ever, kind of අපේ භාෂාවෙන් කඩේ යන්න හොඳ නෑ for a topic. You should talk honestly, talk openly, talk objectively. But if we kind of support one thing too much, right, then as a professional, others may not give you enough respect. They may think that, okay, this guy is not good for advocacy because he's supporting something way too much. Imagine a professional supporting the UNP or a professional going for the port tour, right? Then he loses the middle ground, right? That happens. Advocacy threat is that. So a person should stick to the middle. Think of your A-levels teachers, right? Although they go by the education ministry, support the school values, but do support you as well, right? So you support, you respect those teachers because they can hit the middle ground somehow, right? So whatever the advice they give, you know that they're doing it for the best of you. Imagine a teacher who simply doesn't think about the student's side, only about the school and keep on yapping about the honor, duty, self, all that, but not looking at your angle, then you lose the respect for the person, right? He is suffering from advocacy threat. You have to stick the middle ground. It is that. That's how, right? And parents, when they when you get older, right, the parents cannot only think about the parental side of things, right? Parents should look at your side of the things as well. If you feel that the parents don't understand you, right, then their advice is not exactly taken fully by the younger generation. So it's a hard role for the parents to kind of change, right? To have an understanding of what you feel as much as possible. If that happens, only their advocacy gets respected by you. Okay, take a look at this question, please. Are these statements true or false? A professional accountant is expected to have regard to public interest in the performing? Yes, definitely. Every professional body has a public duty. So do professionals. You're not employees, you're professionals. Professional is different from an employee, remember that, right? How? A professional is one with a skill that is accepted by the society as a solid skill, and a professional is one with lesser supervision. Employees have a lot of supervision, professionals don't come with a lot of supervision. So when a professional makes a decision, there's no one above him to double check his conduct, so he should be very, very careful about his decision. Imagine a police officer on the road, school teacher in the class, doctor in the hospital. They're all professionals. Driver driving a bus, they are professionals. Their mistakes are not checked always, right? So whatever you do, the public interest come forward. Professional accountants are not expected to have regard. No, that is wrong, right? B is wrong, A is right. Ethical values describe what an entity does or how. Ethics can how you do the things, how you behave yourself. Law is what you do. Ethics is how you do. So D correct, A correct. Take a look at these personalities. I feel very sorry for Kusal Mendis. He just has some threats. You figure out what they are, right? He's probably the best prospect for batting in Sri Lanka. Not that I say it, it's both Mahela and Sangha, right? Even Arjuna, Aravind all say that he has potential, but the boy is yet to reach it, right? He's 24 or 25, young, but lost, kind of. So, under threat. What sort of threats you think? Ranil, Mahinda, I don't want to talk about politicians. You think about the type of threats that they have gone, right? Both of them are in the late evenings of their careers. How would Sri Lanka look at these two personalities? And what kind of threats have they come under? Sri Lanka's relationship with India, Sri Lanka's connection to China. Which is the country closer to us, to our minds? Why? What threats are there in an international relationship between two countries? Think, right? Okay, safeguards. What shall we do when we are under threat? Right? Just take Kusal Mendis. Training, experience, continuing professional level, continuing, improvement of the qualities. Some rules by the Sri Lanka cricket, right? Standards, professional standards, monitoring, right? Reviews by outsiders, internal controls, discipline. Don't you think your parents have them? Don't you think your father has them? And one day you'll be having all of them. These things will help us to stay away, or rather minimize the threats. You can't remove the threats, but you can minimize the threats, right? So when we don't have them, we get into problems. So if these politicians, both Ranil and Mahinda, gets this, at least some way, right, it could definitely help the country. So, what are the ethical threats to a professional? Take a look. Yeah, conflict between the requirements of the employer and the fundamental principles. What the company tells and what your profession tells are two different things. What are you going to follow? Intimidation, threat to you, right? Preparation on reporting on information based on incorrect information, where you make reports by relying on no information given by others. But what if that information is wrong? Can you check all that information as correct? That is a risk for you, right? You may be doing wrong advocacy. Having insufficient expertise, that could be there. Poor self-review, right? Financial interest, self-interest, isn't it? Inducements, bribery and all. You have loads of confidential information given by a company at your hands, so you have to be careful with it, right? Until the day you die, you cannot, even if you resign from your company and go and join another company, you shall not divulge private knowledge about the former company ever to anybody, even to your wife or husband. You have to maintain that confidentiality. And sometimes when your companies do wrong, you will have to determine whether to whistleblow or not. That's your ethical duty. So whether to do or not to do is a threat. So it's not easy, isn't it? Doing all this. Okay, so with this we'll wrap it up. So catch you in another lesson.